So today I'm going to be showing you a new synth from Keranyi Sounds. This is Polyscape Nova. It's an advanced hybrid synthesizer. Now, full disclaimer, Keranyi Sounds did email me asking me if I'd like to check out their new synth, possibly give it a review. Now, of course, I did express that I'm only willing to do a review if I can give my real thoughts and opinions. Now, I'm not being paid for this at all, but they did send me the software just so that I could do the review. And to be completely fair to Keranyi Sounds, their response was that it's perfect. They always appreciate real reviews. And I always appreciate a company that just stands by their product and lets the product do the talking for itself. So let's jump into Ableton Live. I'll show you the synth. We'll go through some presets, have a look at some of the controls, and then I'll break down a beat that I've made with it. So we're here in Ableton and we've got the plugin loaded. Now, the first thing you might notice are these large kind of red triangles right here in the middle of the interface. What this effectively does is let you blend between two different sides. There's an A and a B, which compromises of two different sounds, A and B. We've got C and D, which, you guessed it, also compromises of two different sounds. Now, of course, you can change all the sounds individually. We've got volume controls for all four parts down here. So you can blend the A and B. Maybe if you don't want the A, but you just want to blend the B with the C and the D, you can just take out the volume. We've got controls down here for delay and lusher, which is kind of a granular reverb. There is also an extra sound engine here, which is sub. As you can see, there's two libraries here. We have a core library and a sound design library. Now, my understanding is the core library is more kind of conventional sounds for use in music pieces, and the sound design library is intended more for kind of scoring. But that's not to say that you can't use either in kind of either way. On the core library, we've got some keys, leads, soundscapes, and some extra bass. Now, I'm not any kind of great keyboard player, but we'll just run through some patches so you can get a general idea of how they sound. So this is Brills, or the Thrill, Grateful. Obviously, we've got some leads. This patch here, Homecoming, sounds almost like some brass. Now, the next category here is soundscapes. Now, this is something where I think this synth really excels, kind of creating more kind of atmospheric background kind of textures and layers. This one's called the Cinema. You can hear all the kind of modulation moving around in it. Suspense inducing. I could definitely hear that one in the background of some kind of film score, maybe some horror movie type stuff. Then we got some basses. So the second library here is called the Sound Design Library. This has got epic pulses and modulated. Now, these epic pulses, they kind of move and evolve as they're played, which is perfect for that film scoring type stuff. And of course, we've got these modulated ones here as well. Now I've shown you a few basic ones of these. We'll take a look at the GUI. So I'm just going to go to the core library and select keys. I'm just going to select Tenet, which I think is my favorite preset in the entire synth. Here's how it sounds normally. Kind of a key with some delay on it that has some nice atmosphere. So here back on the morph page, obviously we've got this large blend button. Now this makes sound design, for those who don't really know sound design, really easy, as you can just pull it to the one side. We've got that sound, pull it to the other side, and then you can just kind of blend in between. That makes it quite easy to customize the sound a little bit without having to go deep into kind of synthesis and stuff like that. Now, in all honesty, I'm not somebody who jumps all the way into sound design. I just like to grab a preset, tweak it slightly, and just get cracking and make a beat. But if you did want to jump into the sound design, you come into each individual tab here, A. And as you can see, you've got a filter section here. You've got some LFO sections here. You've got some effects here. You can mute everything apart from A. Got a phaser. Got this harmonic delay. We've got this lusher, which is described as a granular reverb. Now we've got module effects here, which is high pass filter, low pass, rate and depth. So up in this top section here, we have our ADSR, so attack, decay, sustain, release. Now I do wish this was labeled ADSR, because I just thought this was for the filter, but to get to the filter, you just click this on, and then you can edit the filter properties. Got an octave section, so you can set the 4 sounds on different octaves. We have this knob here for wow, which kind of makes things a bit warbly and a bit almost retro. So the more you turn it up. Then we've got a tone control, so whether you want it more kind of towards the low pitch or more towards the highs. Now these 3 buttons here change this section at the bottom. So we've got the mixer for changing all the different levels. Then we've got the device effects where you can change things like the harmonic delay and the lusher settings. So you can change the density, diffusion, depth, dampening speed, etc. And then over here we've got a master section where you can change a high and low pass filter. We've got an EQ, so you can change whether it's more kind of EQ'd towards the low end or the high end across the entire sound. We've got a compressor where we can kind of glue all the sounds together. And this final section here is smart random. So this allows you to kind of randomize the properties. Now you can randomize all. And it'll just keep kicking out different sounds completely at random. Or for instance, if you have a sound that you like, but you don't like the ADSR, you can just tap this one. Or for instance, if you have an ADSR you like maybe it's a plucky kind of sound like this one is now, but you don't like the sound, you can just tap this. Now, I do wish there was a back button for this, because if you change the sound at random a couple of times and you want to go back to the previous one, as far as I can tell, there's no way of actually doing that. But if you do want to save the sound, you just come into your library, you pick where you want to save it, just hit add, and I could save this as YouTube video, click enter. Now that preset is saved there, and as you can see, it now reflects it at the top here. Plus up here at the top right, you've got your kind of master volume control. Down here you have velocity and expression. Then you've also got the scale button, which makes it larger. Now this is quite nice, as sometimes this text can be a little bit hard to read. Now, as you can see, if you are willing to dive into the sound design, it can be a pretty powerful tool. However, the real question is, how does it sound in a beat? So I've made a kind of underground boom bap beat that I'm just going to break down now. I've started with Tenet, which, as I said earlier, is my favorite preset in the synth. So to that, I just added some reverb, some portal, a high pass filter on the EQ, and just a little bit of chorus. Here's how it sounds with the effects. Obviously with the effects and also the lusher and the kind of delay within the plugin itself, that not only set the melody, but it kind of set the overall grimy kind of tone. Next, I just layered that with the same notes over a grand piano across 2 octaves, just to give a bit more presence, just kind of in the chorus section. Here's how they sound together. After that, just to kind of fill out the low end a bit, I put in a grand piano just on some lower notes. Nothing special, just really simple. The next layer I put in is called Tranquility. This is in the soundscapes from the core library. As I said earlier, I think this synth is really strong at kind of giving those textures, kind of grittiness for the background. This is just playing 2 notes, really simple. Now the only effects I've got on this layer is actually a shaper box, which is just kind of doing a little bit of pan shaping. Altogether it sounds like this. Kind of gives a bit more atmosphere. All of the delay on this layer is actually from within the plugin itself. And then I've just added a tubular bell. Next I added a layer called Grateful. This is from the core library in the keys section. Just kind of a synthy key just for the chorus section. Altogether, this is how they sound. After that, I just added drums and percussion, a bass guitar, kind of transition effects and drum fills. Now, before I show you the final beat, I do want to give you my overall thoughts on Polyscape Nova. So overall, I think it's a really nice kind of unique synth. It's got some nice presets in there. I think it makes sound design really easy for people that don't really want to jump deep into sound design. I have just noticed that if you wanted to export things, you can come to this More tab here, and you can export all presets as collection. So if you've got your own kind of collection here, you'll be able to export that and share that with your friends, which is a really nice feature. If you're somebody who does kind of scoring type stuff, I think it's really good for kind of making big, lush soundscapes. If you're more into creating kind of beats and that type of stuff, then I think you can use it to get some really nice textures in the background. There are some really nice sounds, of course, for melodies as well. Now, if you do like the look of this and it's something you want to purchase, I do have an affiliate link for Keranyi Sounds just down below in the description. It doesn't cost you anything extra, and I do get a little kickback to just help support the channel. Right then, here's the final beat. Till next time, I've been SK. Peace.